What's up, homies? I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about the beer brewing and what I did as a beer brewing system. It was complicated, but it was typical. It was just what everybody else did. And after a while, I started to realize that it just wasn't for me. Like, I wanted to do something way more clever than that. It was kind of laborious. So, alright. I had a 3-tier gravity fed system. So sometimes people put pumps to pump their water or other liquids around with. Mine was just gravity, which it works fine. I just made this one really tall. The only thing that's scary about it is like you have boiling water way over your head. So if that thing falls with boiling water and it's a heavy metal keg, you're in trouble. I opened my garage door once and it hit it, knocked the whole thing over, but no one was around. Careful with that, I'm serious. Alright, build this part real stable. And then there was a picnic cooler with the grains in it. So you run hot water into here, you soak the grains with hot water, and then you heat up some more hot water and you run hot water over the grains that were soaked in water, and it drains out from there to the kettle. Now the kettle is where you fire it up, and for maybe an hour or two you boil it to get everything going, and you add the hops there and do all that. But from there you go to a fermentation chamber. So you have a spigot at the bottom of this one, and it goes into another keg, and this keg goes into a temperature controlled refrigerator. It's basically a refrigerator that I hacked the temperature control on, and I can adjust whether the temperature goes up and down by using the thing that sensed the air. I put it right against the fermentation chamber, and when it goes higher or lower in temperature, the fan reacts and blows cold air from the freezer and another side refrigerator eventually. I had a you really have to put ice in the freezer, have that fan blowing downwards, and have another side refrigerator blowing cold air from the side. And you have to watch it in the first day or two, because that's when all the fermentation happens. And temperatures could go above 66 degrees, which was my limit. And if you do that, the beer isn't going to be as good. So you have to watch it on the first day and put like a wet towel around this fermenter, and even put pieces of ice on the wet towel until you make sure you don't go past your target temperature, because that's going to create a bunch of off flavors. That's really the secret, all right here. It all happens right here. You screw up right here, it's not going to be good. You're going to have harsh alcohols, it's not going to work out, you're going to have hangovers. But from there, you used a siphon. I didn't really have a spigot off of this keg in here, so I had to siphon out of there into 2 serving kegs, which I really didn't like. If you don't do it just right, you could pick up oxygen by just transferring the beer from here to here. It was a real bitch. You know, like, one keg could taste less oxygenated than the other if you don't do it right. And then you have to basically pressurize these kegs with the correct amount of CO2. And once you do that, it could be done in a day, but usually take a week to just let the CO2 sit into the beer, and then it's carbonated. And then you have to basically lower the pressure of the keg to serve it to people. Sometimes, like, the pressure that you carbonated it at is higher than the pressure that you serve it at. So you kind of have to release the pressure and then hook up your system and then set your gas gauge to push the beer out at the right speed. Because if you over push that, then you're going to get a bunch of foam in your beer. We all know that. So look at all the different things that can go wrong, and then we'll go into my next video of how I'm just kind of over all that shit.